Okay, good evening. May I have your attention, please? I'm Donna Gordy. I'm the chair of the Tribute Committee, and on behalf of the Wise Women Board, the members, and the Tribute Committee of Wise Women of Blair County, I'm very, very pleased and honored to welcome you this evening. It's our pleasure to introduce our 2023 honorees. First, in the category of Arts and Letters, is Jane Height. In the category of Business and Professional, Steph D'Oliveira. Our community service volunteer is Betsy Lehman. Our education honoree is Harriet Gaston. In the nonprofit government category, Judge Alyssa Zimmerman. Our rising star is Alicia Williams. And our Lifetime Achievement honoree is Sister Paula Del Grosso. So as I said, on behalf of the Wise Women Board members and Tribute Committee, welcome. The Wise Women is a successor to the YWCA of Altoona. The organization as a YWCA was struggling financially, and we had the idea to disband as a YWCA, sell our building, and transfer to a locally managed, locally run virtual organization with volunteer leadership stepping up and doing most all of the roles that we have. We do have one part-time person, and that's Jen Checo, our tribute coordinator and administrative assistant. But we were very, very fortunate back in 2008 when we were transitioning to be able to sell our building on Union Avenue. And let me just mention that there are a few photos on the wall out here when you're coming back from the restrooms. Please take a look at them. The building on Union Avenue is there, as well as the old YWCA from downtown Altoona, and a picture of a very famous lamp that we own. But we petitioned the court for a couple of bequest funds, started a new fund within the Central Pennsylvania Community Foundation that was was a little over $500,000. That was, at that time, the largest fund within the Central Pennsylvania Community Foundation, Women Power. So we were very thrilled with that. The fund at one point, with our good advisor, financial advisors, Cindy Karcher from Merrill Lynch, we hit $1 million. And of course, funds are down now because of the market, but we have been continually giving money out each year for scholarships and for grants. The grants are for organizations, nonprofit organizations that propose to do something that furthers our mission, the empowerment of women, the elimination of racism. The scholarships are for adult women 21 and up who are pursuing higher education and who have overcome or are overcoming an adversity of some sort beyond just financial need. Obviously, they need financial need as well. So we are thrilled to be giving out that money and to continue to support organizations within the community through the grants and the scholarships. And it's just so much fun to go to our board meetings. At this point, I will also mention we are a membership organization. There are a couple membership brochures on each of your tables. As a member, you get invited to our annual meetings. You get invited to some of the board meetings where we have special speakers and opportunities. You have the opportunity to serve on our committees and help us make decisions about who receives the scholarships, who receives the grants. And there's also a QR code on the back of the program, and of course our website. We'll be glad to accept your membership any which way you choose to join. The website is wisewomenofblaircounty.org. Sorry, we didn't shorten it at all. So at this point, I will call forward the Honorable President Judge Elizabeth Doyle for our invocation.
Good evening. Let us pray. Gracious God, we gather here tonight to celebrate the incredible power, strength, wisdom, and compassion of the 6 wise women honorees. We give thanks for the countless contributions of women throughout history and for these inspiring women who continue to lead the way. We ask for your blessings upon this meal, that it may nourish our bodies and souls as we come together to honor our friends. They are like heroines from the Bible, businesswomen, benefactors, community champions, loyal friends, and judges. May this dinner serve as a reminder of the importance of uplifting and supporting one another and of the boundless potential you have given that exists within each and every one of us. We offer our gratitude to all the women who have paved the way before us. May we all be inspired to spark and live the change we wish to see in the world for generations to come. Amen.
Thank you very much and enjoy your meal. All right, good evening once again. Will you please join me in thanking the casino staff for a great meal? I hope you agree it was a great meal. All right, before we begin with this evening's honorees, I would like all the women in the audience who are previous honorees to please rise and be acknowledged. Come on. I hope you enjoyed our slideshow during the reception and the meal. It's really fun for those of us that have been around for a while to see all those wonderful faces going back clear to 1992. Unfortunately, we've lost a number of the folks up there, several just in this past year. But it's wonderful to have so many past honorees with us this evening, and we hope our current honorees will be with us many times in the future. This year is a little bit different. We started a sponsorship program, sponsorship of each of the categories. This was a suggestion of Mandy Michaelone, who's our tech person down here. And Mandy did put together the slideshow following on what Harriet Gaston, our honoree tonight, had started. And we're very, very pleased to have the slideshow and so forth. But our sponsorships, and you saw the logos up here, at $1,000, the people from this organization have the opportunity to introduce an honoree. So that's something a little bit different, and have their program acknowledgement in the program and so forth. So we are very pleased to have that happening this evening. So I personally decided to sponsor the Arts and Letters category because of my love of the arts. While I have virtually no artistic talent whatsoever, I play the crucially important role of audience, sponsor, and cheerleader. So it wouldn't happen without people like myself who sit in those seats and applaud and enjoy. I attend nearly everything at the magnificent theater, as Kate can attest, I'm sure. And while the sponsorship is for the category of arts and letters, I'm really pleased that I got to know Jane when I served on the Blair County Arts Foundation for a brief period of time and got to know her. So it's especially nice for me to be able to honor Jane's category this evening. So the category of arts and letters contributes is for someone who contributes significantly to the visual, literary, or performing arts in either a paid or volunteer capacity. Our honoree this evening meets this criteria to the max as a volunteer. Janie's been involved with several arts organizations over the years, but her work with most pales to her considerable commitment, her 15-year commitment as chair of the Night for the Mishler. The Blair County Arts Foundation, owners of the magnificent historic Mishler Theater, are truly blessed by Jane's creativity, her organizational ability, and her inspiration year after year after year. Every year has a different theme, different decorations, different poems weaving together, usually the names of the songs that the performing artist has been made famous. Extraordinary sums it up quite well for Jane. Her nominator, Kate Schaefer, the Blair County Arts Foundation Executive Director, said, "Jane is the spark that ignites the entire event. She devotes many months to ensuring the event is a fun-filled, memorable one, and the time that she spends to that end is incalculable." It's now my great honor to bring to the podium Jane Height.
Hello, everyone. What an awesome crowd. For those of us who are involved in tonight's program, it is heartwarming to see so many familiar faces of family and friends. So I thank you all for taking the time to be here. Thank you to Wise Women for organizing this celebration of some really amazing accomplishments happening in our community. I have been a regular attendee at these tribute dinners for many years. I have heard the extremely impressive stories, and quite frankly, I never expected to be on this side of this microphone. However, when I learned that it was Kate Schaefer who nominated me, it explained a lot. Kate is a great friend. She is an exceptionally gifted writer, and I want to thank her for kindly painting a glowing picture of me I might not have recognized. I promise going forward that I will be committed to trying to live up to some of her descriptions. This is a very enjoyable group of honorees. I think we all loved having dinner with a centerpiece like Sister Paula, who makes any gathering meaningful and fun. And I also want to extend my personal congratulations to all of the other nominees. I have been selected to represent the category of arts and letters, which is a huge personal honor because I always have loved everything creative. To me, the arts are a vital cornerstone to add a special dynamic dimension to our lives. They make us better. They are a vehicle to make us more keenly aware of the world around us, more connected to universal emotions and mutual sentiments. They are tools to promote understanding and respect, which is why the Arts and Letters category is an important part of this evening's recognitions. I think that previous Arts and Letters honorees and I would all share some of these additional abstract insights about the value of the arts. Art is the signature of civilization. Art is the demonstration that the ordinary is extraordinary. The practice of art is to make your soul grow. On the highest level, the arts bind life to life and heart to heart in a common bond of human experience. The arts speak to our spirits and souls, enriching us and often prompting a desire for positive outreach to others, like you will hear in the stories this evening. Where would we be without arts in our environment? The earth without art is, yeah? My niece, Beth Damiano, brought this slogan to my attention, and I loved it. Thank you, Beth. So many things come to mind under the umbrella of the arts, but 4 of the main categories that we typically might think about are literature, visual arts, music, and theater, or the performing arts. Some people who know me best know that I'm a word geek. Fractured poetry, alliteration, similes, metaphors, and puns are my usual preferred verbal currency. But because I especially love quotes, I decided to continue building on my quota of favorite quotes this evening to highlight each of the arts categories that I've just mentioned. Let's begin by considering the art of literature and the obvious significant value that it has in our lives. All writing involves creative imagination. For a moment, I'd like to invite each of you to use your own imagination to picture one of your favorite poems, or a personally meaningful quote, or a great book that really impressed you. What did reading these do to impact you? What made them memorable? Taught you something? Lifted you to higher thoughts or a more introspective space? Actually, I enjoy literature in all of its variety. For me, because they were among my grandfather's favorites, I might have chosen to reflect on the inspiring life message of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's classic poem, The Psalm of Life, or Paul Revere's Ride, which my granddaughter Bella is currently learning. I can't resist telling you that if I had to pick another favorite author, it would be William Shakespeare. I totally admire and appreciate the impeccable, precise cadence of his epic poems or exquisite, expressive soliloquies. That statement was deliberately designed to cause chaos at the height table. Lee was a Shakespeare scholar in college. Ask him about it. At this point, if you focus on all of my daughters, they're cringing, worried that I'm going to launch into some lengthy recitation on the quality of mercy speech from the Merchant of Venice, or the famous to be or not to be quote from Hamlet. Tonight, that is not to be. So Laura, Katie, and Betsy, and all of you, do not need to worry about Shakespeare mania. My point is that the artful power of words is infinite and impactful. Authors using them masterfully in many different styles can reach each of our diverse, innermost sensibilities. That is the ultimate beauty of what literature offers us. Reading is a discount ticket to everywhere, and you can experience anything from tears to laughter to empathy to knowledge embedded in the pages of a book. A good book is like an unreachable itch. The most important part of any story is the ending, because no one reads a book to get to the middle. The earth, without the art of literature, is Let's shift our focus to the broad category of the visual arts. American painter Georgia O'Keeffe would have agreed with the familiar statement, "A picture is worth 1,000 words." Or, anyone who says you can't see a thought simply doesn't know art. Her actual quote was, "I found I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way, things I had no words for." Visual arts surround us. Catchy billboard graphics, photography designs, or store window fashions, sheets, trucks, all make their nonverbal statements with kaleidoscopes of color and style almost everywhere, every day. More formally, think about Joe Savella's creativity on a local level, or the panorama of great artworks at the National Gallery of Art. Observing art makes us analyze our taste and our perspectives. The visual arts are important to enhance and brighten our lives. Pablo Picasso said in one of my favorite quotes, Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. The earth without visual arts is I don't want to miss a beat speaking about the significant value of the art of music. Please use your most vivid imagination to reflect on a time when you were entranced in a spectacular musical atmosphere. Perhaps Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, played brilliantly by Anthony Cornett at ASO's recent concert, or a very different Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. You might imagine a church organ playing beloved holiday hymns, a guitar strumming authentic country western songs, the rhythm and cacophonic sounds of an energetic rock band, or the high, pure pitched soprano notes or the deep bass voice ranges showcased in opera. In all cases, music is an inspiration that lifts us to another plateau of sensitivity. Where words fail, music speaks. Music is the shorthand of emotion. Without music, life is a journey through a desert. Music is a higher revelation than philosophy. The earth, without the art of music, is A huge part of the arts equation is the tragedy comedy of theater and the other performing arts, which dramatically act as a mirror of our own experiences. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, as we all do. As you like it, you can vicariously identify with themes, character traits on stage, antics in plots, or triggered emotions observed in different roles and scenarios. Theater performances speak to you. Sermons on different subjects, sometimes serious, whimsical, comedic, or historic, but usually instructional and therapeutic. When that curtain goes up, there is nothing better than theater. The earth, without the performing arts, is Why are the ideas and ideals of the arts so impactful, and why is exposure to them so important? The simple answer to that question is that the arts entertain us, educate us, and elevate us by challenging our curiosity, sharpening our humor, and molding and refining our sensitivities. Creative things associated with the arts have been on my radar screen for many years, and my enjoyment of these things has surfaced in different ways at different times. For example, when I told my daughters that I was receiving tonight's recognition, I was greeted with some unexpected reflections regarding their younger years with my arts adventures. They remembered summer vacations typically cut 2 weeks short so that I could hang decorations all over Baker School. They were more receptive to my passion for posters that we made for sports teams in high school. Honestly, the janitorial staff, teachers, and coaches likely were ecstatic when those hype girls graduated and the excessive decorations disappeared from Altoona School District. This brings me to the Blair County Arts Foundation and the magnificent Mishler Theater, which is now 117 years old. After my girls were older, in 2003, I was invited to serve on the Blair County Arts Foundation board, which was a perfect fit for me. As a central home base for groups like ACT, ASO, and many other performing groups, all key elements of the arts are associated with the Mishler. So many things I love under one roof. What a pleasure it has been to serve on the BCAF board, which is a great team of people dedicated to the preservation of the Mishler Theater for the cultural well-being of this community. A huge number of BCAF board members are here in support of this evening, and I'm very appreciative of their attendance. It is curiously interesting to me that tonight I am representing the arts and letters category because I also, Donna, have no specific personal talent in any area of the arts. I do read, but I do not paint or draw well like Maggie, my granddaughter, act or dance fluidly, play any instrument, and never will be invited to sing in the church choir or Blair Concert Chorale. However, there absolutely is no one who has a more appreciative, dedicated audience to admire and to be inspired by others' talents. There is one event each year where I am directly responsible for a creative explosion of various ideas for BCAF's annual A Night for the Mishler. 1 month ago, it was our committee's pleasure to salute the Mishler at our 18th Night for the Mishler Gala. A main reason that BCAF and I are being honored tonight is likely because of some of the innovative fun that my committee and I have had planning and orchestrating that annual fundraiser. We have decorated various venues with a range of themes from patriotic, disco, New York City, Las Vegas, We Are the World, Peter Pan, and Italy designs to this year's prom with lots and lots and lots of balloons. The interconnected esprit de corps of our committee is unparalleled, and I thank them again for their annual chain reaction of unfolding ideas to make the Night for the Mishler a success. On behalf of the Blair County Arts Foundation and myself, I extend a genuine thank you to Wise Women for this most appreciated recognition. As tonight's representative of Arts and Letters, I would like to say that it is because art is at the center of Earth, we all have fuller, more interactive, more robust, and more meaningful adventures on life's journey. Viva the arts! Finally, I want to emphasize again how extremely fortunate we all are to live in this wonderful community full of very special people. Utopia, as one good friend always proudly called it. We are especially blessed with a group like Wise Women to shine a light on some of the many exceptional things that are happening here, because we all should realize that the wisest of all things is to care about others, and no one does it better than we do in this town. Thank you very much.
I think she just struck terror and all the other honorees going, I gotta follow that. You all be you, that's the important thing. Our next category is business and professional, and our sponsor for that category for this year is Merrill Lynch, who I mentioned earlier have been our investment advisors at Wise Women. And to present our business and professional category honoree is Mrs. Jamie Tabaka, a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. Jamie?
Good evening. On behalf of Merrill Lynch, I'm excited to introduce the honoree in the business and professional category. This category honors a woman that provides leadership in business and industry. It recognizes drive for success against all odds. This year's honoree is no stranger to success. She has been a loyal employee of Sheetz for over 20 years, and during that time, served as the first female executive as Vice President of Human Resources. Fortune Magazine, Convenience Store News, and Pittsburgh Magazine have recognized her for her leadership and commitment to the original focus of the Sheetz company from over 70 years, its people. She has worked tirelessly to push the boundaries of what is possible, to explore new frontiers, and to make the world a better place. A few noteworthy achievements. In the uncertainty of March 2020, Stephanie spearheaded a way for Sheetz to grow gratitude to its employees and increase the wages by $3 per hour through the summer. Sheetz instituted a new maternity leave policy in 2020, providing 12 weeks of paid leave at 100% for new mothers and 2 weeks of fully paid time off for partners. In 2021, their college tuition reimbursement program increased by an additional $3,500 a year. It's no surprise that her latest promotion resulted in her current title of Executive Vice President of People and Culture. A nominator said, "The company would not be in the position it is in today without the leadership and guidance of Stephanie. Please join me in welcoming this year's recipient to the stage, Stephanie D'Oliveira.
Good evening. So special to be with all of you this evening, and thank you for that introduction. When I hear those words, I can't believe it's my life, but I am so honored to be with you tonight and being honored by wise women among these other amazing and outstanding women. So congratulations to Janie, Betsy, Harriet, Alyssa, Alicia, and Sister Paula. It is such a true honor to stand here with all of you. And Janie, so hard to follow that. This honor is shared also with an incredible circle of support that I've had my entire life. There is no way that I could accomplish the things that I have without some amazing and incredible love and support from a circle of very important people. For me, that support comes from my faith, my family, and my friends. And I want to acknowledge some of those family and friends tonight. From day one, this is really overwhelming. From day one, I was blessed with incredible parents. Steve and Sandy Nickham are here tonight. They gave me a firm foundation and have been my cheerleader for a lifetime. They taught me the importance of giving back, of doing your best, and taking care of other people. And my two sons, Gabriel and Carter. Gabe is a student in college in Pittsburgh, and so he's not here tonight because I said, don't mess up your final exams.
That's a mom.
That's a mom, for sure, yes. But my youngest son, Carter, is here tonight. Carter is a 6th grade student at Foot of 10 Elementary School. And what Gabe and Carter have taught me is that it is possible to have a successful career, taking care of other people, and being a mom. So thank you, Carter. At Sheets, we are a family. I mean, there is the Sheets family, some of whom are here tonight. But as coworkers, we talk about our Sheets fam. We really view each other not only as coworkers, but as friends, and for many of us, as family. And we are so blessed at Sheets with incredible people, 25,000 employees across 6 states. And I just want to call out, I have more than 2 tables worth of friends and coworkers here who I am so appreciative of being here to support me. And honestly, this honor is about all of us because we work together to make Sheets a great place. With these special thank yous, I wanted to turn my attention just for a moment to talk a little bit about my career. I've been a member of this community for 27 years, and what a special community this is for sure. In my career at Sheets, which spans more than 20 years, actually it's been 22 years, I've had the distinct honor and privilege to learn from some of the best business leaders, not only in this community, but across this nation. The Sheets family, Sheets executives, and honestly, I learn every day from all of our employees. When I had my recent promotion, I had the opportunity to stand on a stage in front of 1,200 managers at Sheets. And honestly, this is a little bit more intimidating than that. But what I said to them that I will share with you is that I love what I do. I love what I do. And when you love what you do, it makes your job easier. Not easy, because I'll tell you, this job is not easy. I view my job as taking care of the 25,000 employees that we have. Being there for when they need us most, taking care of them personally and professionally. That's not an easy job, but my goodness, when you love what you do, it's certainly easier. In this career, I've had such an opportunity to learn, and I thought I would share in closing a couple lessons that I've learned that I wanted to pass along to you because I think it applies to everyone in this room. First, I've learned that every human wants to be seen and heard and appreciated. So every little thing you do to see them, to hear them, to appreciate them matters. The little things are the big things. Smiling, opening doors, being there in the good times and the bad, holding hands, helping when you can, and listening when you can't. Holding space for others really does make a difference. And the second lesson is that lighting a flame in another person doesn't diminish your own light. I like to use a candle metaphor. One of my favorite times of year is Christmas and Christmas Eve service. And in our church, at Christmas Eve service, we do a candlelight experience while we're singing Silent Night. I usually can't get through the first verse without bawling. But when you think about lighting the candle of another, in that moment, your light doesn't go out. And in fact, when your candle touches the wick of another, it burns brighter. And so we all have that ability to light the flame within others. And we need to do that to illuminate this world. So I hope that me sharing with you these two lessons that I've learned, that the little things are really the big things, and that you can ignite the light in others, that you go and do those two things in our community. And when we do that, we will make this community an even better place. And I would guess that we're going to be making even a better world. Thank you so much to Wise Women, to all of you for being here. It's an incredible honor. Thank you.
Our next category is Community Service Volunteer. And the Wise Women Board is the sponsor of our Community Service Volunteer this year. And our esteemed president, Debbie Garatano, is going to present on behalf of Wise Women. Debbie?
Thanks, Donna. Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Wise Women, I'm excited to introduce the honoree in the Community Service Volunteer category. This category honors a woman that performs outstanding service to the community by demonstrating distinctive and unique contributions and benefits as a non-paid volunteer. This year's honoree currently serves as the GFWC Pennsylvania North Central District President's Project Chairman. She is also the elected president of Kiwanis, an organization where she has dedicated 30 years of service. The nonprofit organization Dreams Go On holds a special place in her heart and exemplifies her passion for helping others. She serves as the chair of the annual Lehman Engineers Trail Walk and Trail Ride, leading the committee to raise over $350,000 since 2006. Most recently, Dreams Go On received a state grant for $1 million that will enable it to expand services for its emotionally and physically challenged individuals. However, her impact goes far beyond the work she has done with various organizations. She is a kind and compassionate person who always goes out of her way to help those around her. She is a mentor and role model to many, and her tireless dedication to the betterment of her community has inspired others to follow her example, most notable her children. Both have seen the value in helping others and have contributed to the local food bank and the Central Pennsylvania Humane Society through fundraisers of their own. Her nominator said, "Betsy has a very keen sense of the human spirit. She brings positivity and light to every idea or challenge presented to her, sparking strength and empowerment in everyone around her." Please join me in welcoming this year's honoree to the stage, Betsy Lehman.
Good evening, everyone. I think we could probably just let it go right there, right? This is just such an incredible honor, and I'd like to start out by thanking the Wise Women of Blair County, their board of directors, as I am just beyond honored to share this evening with the incredible ladies at my table. It's just been a joyous and fun time, and I'm in awe of them and their amazing accomplishments. My Mount Carmel roots also makes this evening especially special to have a seat with Sister Paula at the table. My Mount Carmel buddies and I are planning a reunion pretty soon for our 8th grade class, and they would be real happy to know that I was here with you, Sister Paula. I think she's one of the greatest saints of Blair County, and someone that we can all look at as a wonderful, wonderful role model. I also greatly appreciate this honor, as so many women that I deeply, deeply respect and admire have already been up here before me, and I certainly never expected to be in this position myself. I'd like to thank the beautiful people who thought so much of me to nominate me. Such a treasure, such a lovely thing, and just thank you so much. I have 3 messages tonight that I want to leave you with in my presentation. And the first one is to send someone, because that's what happened to me, and it changed my life. The second one is to dream, because as we all know, if we dream about it and we can make it a reality, we can really change the world and do great things. And the last one is to believe in yourself. Someone has to help plant that seed of faith so that you believe in yourself, so that you can do the good things that you know or want to do. So let me start with send someone. I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who sent me as that someone, because they believed in me. And they truly fostered an atmosphere and a culture of the importance of servant leadership at the first company that I was so fortunate to work for when I got out of college. Those people were Bill and Nancy Campbell that gave me my first job. And I have to tell you, learning about marketing and communications and honing in on my professional skills was one great gift. I learned more working there than I ever learned in college, and it was just spectacular. It was a ride that I truly loved, and Haas's will always have a very special place in my heart. But more importantly, they lived by example their corporate values of honesty, integrity, hard work, and giving back to the community. Does that sound like Bill and Nancy? More than words on a wall, these were core values from Bill's childhood, and he shared them with all of us at the company. And he believed what he said, and he did what he believed. and we followed. His example was truly a tremendous gift. I followed the example of them and this man who did things just because it was the right thing to do. They were so generous with their time and their resources. Dane Sager was one of my immediate supervisors, and he also believed in me and gave me opportunities to volunteer wherever Haas was doing something. And what would happen is we'd sponsor something, and I'd go out and work a little bit. Maybe it would be with Betsy Hurst at Blair County RD, or maybe it was with Marcia Rapp at the MS Society. And the next thing you know, I'm their little buddy for years and years at a time, and we're just doing great things and really changing lives and making my life great as well. The Campbells truly have changed my life for the great because they chose to send me. They chose to send me to Kiwanis 30 years ago. 30 years ago, that's hard to believe, isn't it, Mama? But these experiences were what gave me a beautiful and what I think is a very fulfilled spirit from doing the work that I know I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping other people on this earth. I'm supposed to do what I can. I'm supposed to try to do what I can to help others be happy and to see them lifted. Engaging in servant leadership roles in boards and committees has also been very educational and very meaningful to me. Some of my roles have changed, and some of the positions maybe have become a little bit more professional, but there's some of those early years that are really the heart of what I'm all about, and it's really when I can get down and get with the group and be with children and help people that really has made a difference in my heart. When I get to work with others in our community, I feel alive. I get much more than I ever get back, much more than I deserve. And I believe I'm doing, again, what I'm supposed to be doing. We are called to serve and love one another. Many of the organizations I volunteer with are ones that directly help the neediest among us, those who can't fend for themselves, maybe some who can't feed themselves, and many of them are children. My work with the Altoona Kiwanis Club directly benefits many children right here in our community. I thank so many of you for supporting us. We can help children with scholarships. We help them with educational activities for their growth. We help them with emotional problems. We help them with art. We give them activities to help to impact and improve their lives. I'm also really thrilled, in addition to having some of my Kiwanis buddies here, I have a table back there with the Hollidaysburg Women's Club. It's a lovely group of ladies back there that are just dynamic and out of this world. They strive to work hard together to help many women and children in our community as well. We support women in scholarship, we educate each other, and we team up to make our community more vibrant and beautiful through programs to feed, clothe, and entertain, if you consider the places of impact that this group has worked on. Some of you might not know, but they've had a large hand in places that you enjoy, probably with your children and grandchildren. Places like the YMCA, the Discovery Garden, Legion Park, and Canal Basin Parks. It's a real privilege to get to work with these groups and organizations. And to you business leaders here tonight, a really big heartfelt thanks from me. Thanks to so many of you, because I know many of you do the same thing and you send someone to serve. And you don't have to be a large company to do that. You can get involved at a small level. I just recruited somebody in the bathroom to come and volunteer at the barn. I'm doing good. So you don't have to be a big group. You can be one person, you can be a small person, but together we can truly make a difference, and I will be calling you. You know who you are. Secondly, I'd like you to dream. Something special happens when someone has a dream. Dreams Go On is such a special organization to me, and it was born from an inspiration from my sister-in-law, Sue Lehman. Her hope was to get out there, and she founded this organization to help children experience the powerful benefits of therapeutic horseback riding. She wanted to give these lessons to children, and she started out about 18 years ago with this dream. And I was lucky to get to visit the barn many years ago on one of my early first dates with my husband. And you have to understand, the only horses I had really been close to before were the ones at Bland's Park. So I was a little intimidated, and I'm only telling you that because since this is such a good opportunity to recruit more volunteers, I can tell you, you do not have to be a skilled horseman to volunteer at the barn. Many people are like myself that start out there. You'll learn how to sidewalk. We'll teach you how to interact with the horses and the children, and we need support people. And I'm passionate about this program and supporting therapeutic horseback riding because I know it has made a profound impact on the lives of the riders and also on the lives of their families. As a volunteer, I've seen the smiles and confidence of a child riding. It is an uplifting experience like no other to see a child with challenges gain physical improvements and a better outlook. Horse therapy is also truly therapy for that whole family. It's a joyful time to see a child soar as they ride, groom, and bond with the horse. Many beautiful days and sparks of hope are started at the barn. The therapeutic benefits are many. At our barn, nonverbal children have begun to speak. Independent riders have become independent riders. Most beautifully, hearts and minds are lifted. We have a dedicated crew of volunteers with talent and just love for these children, love and respect. I'd like to thank our hardworking board of directors, some of whom are here tonight, our amazing volunteers. I feel like I should be, I'm taking this award back for all of them too, because we're a huge group, we're a whole team. Nobody does anything by themselves. It's a well-oiled machine, and we just have fearless leaders out there. One of them is with us tonight. Deb Kelly, where are you? There she is. Deb is just an amazing woman and is much responsible for our success today. We're making a difference in the lives of those children, and it's not too often. I have so many supporters from Dreams Go On in room. So I have to say thank you for sponsoring us. Thank you for helping us build and deliver this program. Thank you for helping us way back when we first had the very first Layman Engineers and Horse Trail Ride, when people didn't really know what we meant by Dreams Go On and people didn't know what DGO is all about. I really appreciate the support. And I must pause for a second because we have Judy Ward here in the audience as well. And could we please just give her and Representative Jim Gregory a big round for bringing home that $1 million grant to help us build a new barn. The support from you and your understanding of the significance of horseback riding and therapy has provided to the children who will ride uncountable measures of opportunities in their futures. It means 1 million more dreams are going to be made at that barn, and we're going to make a wonderful future there for them. My hat is off to you both. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank my beautiful work family. Some of my dearest friends here are from Layman Engineers, and they are so supportive and have always been instrumental in supporting my community endeavors. I'm so blessed to be doing what I love with people who are so kind and appreciative and generous to give their time and friendship and advice. They're the best volunteers in the world. And I'd also like to thank, I have back there somewhere around there, I don't know, my crazy girlfriends, there they are. I just like to thank them as well. They have always cheered me on. They are my forever friends. They're my soul sisters, and I'm so very blessed to have them in my life. So thank you for being here, ladies. They support all my wacky ideas and are always happy to help and make me a basket or do whatever I need to have done. I'd like to thank my beautiful family that's here too to support me tonight. They have always been here, and my dad is here too. Say hi to my dad down there. He's a sweetheart. This man raised me on his own as a single dad from the time I was a young teenager. And I have to tell you, it wasn't until just about 2 days ago that I realized that he was a single dad. We just have such a beautiful family, and they're so supportive. I mean, he taught me to fish, he taught me to shoot a gun, and worked to do a quick sew on my prom dress even when I needed it. It must have been tough to be a single dad, but I think he did a pretty good job. He always taught me to believe in myself. And so I share that message with you, to believe in yourself. Encourage your children to believe in themselves. Encourage them to chase their dreams. You'll be amazed at what you can do, what they can do. And I just want to say thank you, Dad, for fostering that mentality in me. My mom is here with me in spirit. She was taken away too soon, but she was an amazing giver. Her example of kindness and charity were pivotal, in my life as well. I have to have a heartfelt thank you to my husband. He is just amazing and so supportive. He supports me in absolutely everything that I do. He's my best friend, my dream maker, and he made my biggest dream come true with the beautiful family that we created. I'm so proud of him for being a great husband and father to our 2 children who are here with us tonight. He is absolutely my everything. My children, Lauren and Joey, are here, and they are my biggest fans. They have the greatest hearts, and I'm so proud of who they are and how they treat others. These kids are the loves of our lives, and I'm so grateful for their support in all we do. I hope they charter values in their own families that help them to treasure the memories that we've made. The greatest thanks of all, of course, goes to God. I have been gently pushed and placed in the right places in so many times in my life. When I truly needed something, I have been blessed. I am recharged listening to the Word of God and His message to serve others. I'm grateful for my family at St. Michael's Church in Hollidaysburg, and I'm so very grateful for the wisdom shared by Father Allen and many others there. Again, my message for you is to send someone. Volunteerism sometimes gets a little edge, it gets a little push, it gets a little introduction. It also gets an invitation. Sometimes you have to invite someone to go along. But please send someone if you can. Send someone to our civic groups. We have Rotary, we have Ambux, we have Kiwanis, we have the Women's Club. We have so many groups and organizations. We have Wise Women, which, yes, I will be a member of tomorrow. But send someone. Give them a chance to do good. You'll change a life, and our young adults will continue to do what many of you have already done. Dream. Your dreams can become a treasure for others like Dreams Go On has become such a treasure for so many families in our community. And believe in yourself. Blair County is our home. I love it here. I know it can be great for generations to come. Believe in yourself and try something new in a volunteer capacity or servant leadership role, and we'll all have a better community for it. Thank you again for this incredible honor this evening. I am just very touched and very appreciative. Thank you.
Our next category is education. And again, this is sponsored by Wise Women of Blair County, the Board of Directors. And representing us for this one is Flo Schuss, our very able secretary, who actually was the nominator for this honoree. Flo?
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Wise Women Board of Directors, I'm excited to introduce the honoree in the education category. This category honors a woman that works in a formal education setting and demonstrates exceptional leadership or innovation. This year's honoree currently serves as the coordinator of the minority programs in the Division of Undergraduate Studies at Penn State Altoona. Prior to her arrival at Penn State over 30 years ago, she worked at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga in residence life. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Davidson's College and a Master's in Education from Vanderbilt University. Not long after her arrival in Blair County in 1990, she became instrumental in the Black community by taking over leadership of the African American Heritage Project at the request of Reverend Paul Johnson. This project gained her the title of Story Keeper as she moved through the community gathering cherished information about the history and contributions of past Black residents. She shares this information in presentations and lessons with the hope that others will continue to tell these stories and share them with future Blair County residents. She is a 2002 graduate of the Leadership Blair County program, of which she is most proud. She is involved in Arts Altoona, the African American Heritage Festival of Blair County, and serves as historian for the Blair County branch of the NAACP. As a former member of the Wise Women Board of Directors, she still embraces the mission of the organization. She says, "The Wise Women's mission statement is lofty, and we should see it as a journey and not just as a destination. To stay on that journey, we need to be mentoring our future generation as it relates to the mission statement. Empowering women and eliminating racism is uncomfortable and sometimes is uncertain. If we are feeling uncomfortable, uncertain, and unsure as we address the lack of empowerment or equity, then those feelings mean that we are empathetic with those who do not have access or the ability to address their issues of inequity." Please join me in welcoming this year's honoree to the stage, Harriet Gaston.
Good evening. The goal was not to trip coming up. And now I have my reading glasses because this was a much bigger font on my laptop. I would like to thank the Wise Women Tribute Committee and the Wise Women Board of Directors for this recognition. I congratulate the other women who are being recognized tonight as well. You have made and will continue to make a difference in Blair County. Thanks to all who came tonight to show your support and give your encouragement to these honorees and to me. I am very grateful and very humbled by your support. I hope to continue to represent the mission of Wise Women of Blair County. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, y'all. My interest in African American history began there. In the 1970s, my maternal family held an annual family reunion, and my mother's aunt shared stories of my great-great-grands and my great-great-uncles and great-great-aunts. I learned that each of my four great-great-uncles and great-grandfather had different last names. They reconnected with each other after the end of slavery and held an annual meal during the Thanksgiving or Christmas holidays. That tradition of having a meal with the families of those four brothers was passed down for some 70 years. In the 2000s, I learned from my maternal grandfather that his mother, his grandmother, and his aunts could read and write. This is in Union County, North Carolina. My grandfather's aunts went into the teaching profession. My grandfather's mother did not go that route. Their father, who is my great-great-grandfather, founded a church, a school, and was a blacksmith and a farmer in the late 1800s to 1910. He and another family descendant were mentioned in the local Southern white-owned papers in the 1900s. As it was mentioned, I moved to Altoona in 1990 to work at Penn State, Altoona. We are. Okay. My introduction to Blair County history began when someone asked me if I planned to visit the world-famous Horseshoe Curve. I had never heard of the Horseshoe Curve. When I first attended Altoona's Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, a member of that church, Mrs. Dorothy Kimball Mallet Williams, came up to me and welcomed me with the words, "Hello, cousin." I didn't know how we could be related. I attended the first Blair County African American Heritage Festival in 1994. After it was over, I opened my big mouth and stated that this could be better. Therefore, Reverend Paul Johnson approached me to join the African American Heritage Project. The festival was created to promote the project. And in 1997, Reverend Johnson said, "You take over," basically. The project was created to document the history of African Americans who came to Blair County from the South before World War I and through World War I, through World War II, and after. This exodus of African Americans who moved from the South to the North during those decades was called the Great Migration. I joined Altoona's First United Methodist Church in the late 1990s. I met there Miss Jenny Emmerhan, who was a member of the Blair County Genealogical Society. After she learned that I was involved with the African American Heritage Project, Miss Jenny shared with me a copy of tax records of a Thai Tuna landowner from 1789, 1791, and 1799. The 1789 and 1791 records listed that this landowner owned two enslaved persons, and in 1799 owned one enslaved person. Although I was stunned to learn of this historical information, I eventually became curious to learn more about Blair County's Black history before it was a county and up until the present. This curiosity is why I started researching, documenting, and sharing Blair County's African American history. I am not the first to do this. I stand on the shoulders of Reverend George Bailey, Sylvia Shorter Lee, Agnes Walker, Robert Johnson, Grace Bell, Florence Pittman, David Brown, Andrew Downey, Reverend Roy Downey, Sarah Hanson, Barbara Pendleton, and Hazel Johnson. Before the internet existed, they wrote local Black history and submitted news articles about Blair County Africans. I'm grateful to these community historians who share their findings and knowledge with me. Blair County Genealogical Society, Blair County Historical Society, Railroaders Memorial Museum, Claysburg Pass, Historic Hollidaysburg Inc., Hollidaysburg Heritage and Guided Tours, Herman Nagel, Minister Karen Ferguson, Bernard Chapman Sr., Dr. Jerry Zoltan, and Professor Jared Frederick. I learned that a few historical tidbits, such as that Blair County's Black population lived in this area before it was a county, which officially occurred in 1846. Altoona schools were desegregated in 1858. Black men who lived in Martinsburg, Williamsburg, Tyrone, Bellwood, Hollidaysburg, Allegheny Furnace, and Altoona fought in the Civil War. Approximately 10 Blair County men enlisted with the 54th Massachusetts. For those who are older, you know the movie Glory. The rest of you who are younger, ask your older folks. Moses Brown of Hollidaysburg owned the land that is now called the Seven Hills Golf Course and Blair Mount Country Club. That in 1881, his son was the first Black Pennsylvania high school graduate, the first Black man elected to a Pennsylvania judge position lived in Altoona. That 3 Blair County men enlisted in or taught the Tuckasegee Airmen in World War II. That Blair County's Black women were involved in the local temperance and suffragette movements. That the first baseball night game in Blair County was between the Homestead Braves of Pittsburgh and the Kansas City Monarchs, which was held at Cricket Field. And a meeting in Hollidaysburg led to the founding of the state chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And yes, the Underground Railroad came through Blair County before the Civil War. If you're still wondering if I'm related to Mrs. Dorothy Williams, the answer is a strong maybe. Her mother was a Gaston and came from Mississippi. In my family research, there's an ancestors on my father's side who lived in Mississippi. I wish to thank my grandfather, Wes Macaulay, my grand-aunt, Maggie Little Stitt, and my father, Retoy Gaston, also known as Pap Pap by my son, for instilling this love of personal history, and I give thanks to Penn State and Penn State Altoona for providing the resources to find Blair County history and document it. I continue to believe that I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, and I am so excited to see where the next leg of this journey takes me. Thank you.
Our next category is nonprofit government, and we have a sponsor for that, which is the McQuaid Blasco Attorneys at Law, and representing McQuaid Blasco is Blair County Commissioner Laura Burke.
Good evening. On behalf of McQuaid Blasco and my husband, Sean Burke, I am excited to introduce the honoree in the nonprofit government category. This category honors a woman that works in a nonprofit organization or in a governmental political environment who demonstrates visionary leadership for the betterment of the community. This year's honoree is a distinguished jurist who serves as a sitting judge and has made outstanding contributions to the legal profession. She received a bachelor's degree from Northwestern University in 1981 and a Juris Doctorate from the Dickinson School of Law in 1984. She has been in public service for over 30 years, most of that time spent in the Blair County District Attorney's Office. Prior to her appointment, she served as divorce master, support hearing officer, and a custody pretrial hearing officer. She also maintained her own law office for many years. Her impact extends beyond the courtroom. She has been a mentor and role model to countless young lawyers, sharing her wisdom and experience to help guide them in their careers. She participates in mock trials at the local level, as well as at Penn State Law School. Alyssa has been described as selfless, supportive, and a great friend. If you see her in the community, she is likely donating clothes for an upcoming sale, planning an event for the Blair County Bar Association, or golfing. One of her many nominators said, "Alyssa is one of those rare individuals who has no personal agenda behind her tireless efforts to pursue justice. She champions people who try to better themselves and helps them to find better life solutions." Please join me in welcoming this year's honoree to the stage, the Honorable Judge Alyssa Zimmerman.
Last year, at the Wise Women of Blair County Awards, Jen Bergmeyer, a business professional, shared her fitness and Zumba passion. She had everyone in the room stand up and dance with her. Today, since I'm being introduced as a judge and I can't teach you to dance, I thought maybe we could just stand around and judge each other. Every woman who has ever won the Wise Woman Award in the category of nonprofit government, please stand. I know you're here. Thank you. There are quite a few, and I would never leave. There are quite a few, and I would never leave anyone out, but I'm guessing these people are still in the room. 1998, Mickey Port. 2004, Elizabeth Doyle. 2008, Jane Sheffield. 2011, Judy Rosser. 2015, Marianne Bennis. 2018, Kathy Griffith. And 2022, Judy Ward. Wise Women has a mission. That mission is to empower women through collaboration, service, and education. How do women achieve all that? Well, I can tell you that men do it one way and women do it another. Women do it with intelligence and emotion. Women work together and we seek feedback. We don't immediately assume we're right. Instead, we listen not just to the women in the room, but also to the men. And then we do it our way anyway. Women negotiate the work-life balance. When women get together, there is a special energy. There are female-female relationships that are nurtured. The collective wisdom of the older generation, and I count myself in that group, is a precious resource. We encourage cross-generational contact where daughters and mothers, granddaughters and grandmothers, Ginger, Bonnie, mothers and daughters-in-law, Erin, Maddie, to be, and aunts and nieces come together to work and create. Go ahead, look around your table and recognize your bond and your relationship with your people. The biggest gift any woman can give another woman is her time. We benefit from spending time mentoring our young leaders. Women in leadership roles have a long record of achievement, not only through hard work, but because of a willingness to listen and adapt to change. Wise Women is one organization that keeps that going. But enough about you. Let's talk about me. At the beginning, I said, let's get together and judge each other. As you're all aware, my life changed dramatically on July 18, 2022, when I was made a judge of the Court of Common Pleas. Nothing really prepares a person for this. Not all the role modeling or mentoring in the world. So just like I told you to look around at your tables for your people, I reached out to my people. Having had absolutely no experience in landlord-tenant law, that of course was my first case on my very first day. I reached out to Judge Paula Agner. She pointed me in the right legal direction and gave me everything I needed. My second day of work, I was assigned to PFAs. Having absolutely no experience in protection from abuse law, I reached out to Judge Jackie Bernard, who gave me a crash course in PFA 101 and then sent me on my way. Judge Elizabeth Doyle was always there when I needed help navigating just about everything. The entire system. She was and is always there. As a woman, it is so easy to second-guess yourself, no matter what your profession. I was fortunate to have a pep squad. Jolene, Abby, Deepal, Megan Irwin, Nicole Smith, Kathy Lithgow, Barb Boster, Julie Dively, and Jessica Miller, who in their own gentle ways supported me. What I did come to the judge job with was some experience in child custody and divorce. But again, nothing can prepare you for the cases you get. In my 8 years as a Sunday school principal, we had a great book that Toby Rispoli used all the time. It was called You Be the Judge. So I'm asking you to listen to this custody case and you be the judge. A father is getting married this weekend and wants his 4-year-old to be there. They have a dress, she is the flower girl, but the mother says no. The mother says she wants her child this weekend because it is her 4th birthday next week, and she has planned a birthday party with her entire family coming, some of whom are traveling. Both these events are planned for Saturday. Does the 4-year-old go to her dad's wedding or go to her birthday party? So that wasn't so hard, right? You figure that out. Try this. The parents have a custody order that says they are entitled to 1-week vacation each with the boys, with 30 days notice of the dates. Both follow the order, and guess what? Both pick the same week. Father and his entire extended family rented a beach house in North Carolina. The boys have always loved this vacation with cousins and grandparents. Mother and her husband prepared for an amusement park vacation with the boys. The trip includes their little sister and their stepbrother, and these boys have been talking about it for months. You be the judge and figure that one out. One more, or is this boring? Okay. Should I tell a joke? A drunk goes to court. The judge says, "You have been brought here for drinking." The drunk says, "Great, let's get started." Okay. One more, you be the judge. This is sad. Mom and dad have 2 kids, ages 2 and 4. Mom is an addict and has criminal charges, and dad is in jail. Her mom wants custody of the kids. She is the grandmother, and she is getting custody. There's nowhere else to go. But it begs the question, how is grandma going to do a better job raising her grandchildren when her own daughter is an addict? So why did I ask you to be the judge? Women are called upon to solve problems and make difficult decisions. In court, we deal with people. They are there because the matter is important to them, no matter how trivial it may seem to you. I asked you to be the judge, and everyone at your table may have had a different answer, but it doesn't mean that one answer is right and another is wrong. It means that all we can do is our best. I want to thank the Wise Women Committee, and I really hope that they are not losing credibility by choosing me. I want to thank my family and friends, but I especially want to thank Scott because he doesn't judge me. Thank you.
I love that. You be the judge. Our next category is our Rising Star. And this category is being sponsored by Sheets. And I am introducing the man who needs no introduction, and that is Steve Sheets, who is the chair of the Sheets Family Foundation. Steve?
Well, good evening. Hopefully I can see my notes on my phone. No. Oh, they're already here. Look at this. Wow. Don't they think of everything? Well, on behalf of Sheets, I'm excited to introduce the honoree in the Rising Star category. This category honors a woman no older than 25 years of age that has provided self-initiated community service that has both significant and positive impact. It is not just about recognizing talent or skill, but celebrating the hard work, dedication, and perseverance of those who have gone above and beyond in their respective fields. This year's honoree, at 23 years of age, defines the phrase above and beyond. While attending Penn State Altoona for her undergraduate degree, she was president of Kappa Omicron Nu, the Honor Society in Human Development and Family Studies. She was president and founder of the student group. In addition, she has led the initiative to raise awareness and education about sexual assault and family violence. She has collaborated with various community agencies to host events on campus to educate women on self-love, consent, body awareness, and understanding healthy relationships. Her nominator, who is her husband, who I just learned tonight works for Sheets, it's a good thing. Her husband used these words to describe her: passionate, uplifting, patient, and kind. He says, I truly believe that Alicia helps women find their full potentials as individuals and when in relationships. I watched my wife give birth to 3 beautiful children, care for them unconditionally, and still kick butt at school, work, and with her passions. Well written, by the way. At such a young age, Alicia is just getting started. She says her research is setting the groundwork for her passion to learn, expand, and demand the need for change in society. She is currently attending Louisiana State University for her master's degree in social work, with plans to continue through to a PhD eventually. Alicia's husband says Alicia deserves the Rising Star Award because she is a star all on her own and deserves a moment to shine. Please join me in welcoming this year's honoree to the stage, Alicia Williams. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. As you can tell, I'm a little nervous. It's truly inspiring to be able to come up here after so many women and come before Sister Paula. It's definitely daunting. I'm hoping I say the right things as a good Catholic girl. I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. But I just want to start by thanking Wise Women for even believing that I truly deserve this award, because it's definitely an honor. As well, I want to thank everyone who is sitting at the honoree table, because I hope one day that I can come back and even consider myself an equal to all of them. I know I have a lot to achieve in my life, and even with what I have accomplished, I know is not nearly enough. I know there's more that can be done in our community. Tonight, I kind of want to talk just about the 2 areas of my life that are very important to me: my personal life and my educational life. So, to my parents, I'm sorry. I know I was hard to deal with. I was hot-headed, loud-mouthed, a couple bad words in there here and there, but I definitely sat down and did my time. To my brothers, they definitely put some hair on my chest. Brotherly love comes in different forms, and whether it was a fist fight in the middle of our yard or a pat on the back when I had a hard time at school, I definitely appreciated it. And to my husband, thank you. I'm sorry. Just thank you. I'm going to move on from there. I'm going to start crying. Thank you for never asking me to be anything other than myself, because that can be very hard to find in a partner. Wow. I told him the 2 worst things that could happen is I could cry or fall on the stage, so let's hope I don't do that either. But I have a lot of amazing people in my life, in my personal life, and they've definitely set the groundwork for me to get here. Moving on from there so I don't continue to cry and make people feel uncomfortable. My educational life. I have met 2 amazing men in my life who set the groundwork for research that I love to this day, that has continued on and is at some point, or actually most recently, is going to be published. And before I continue with that, I have to honor the other people that were involved with that, Tyler and Rachel. They're not here tonight. When I started this research, I was pregnant. And when you're pregnant, it's hard. You're hot, you're tired, and you're frustrated. And when you add things like research into those mixes, I'm sorry.
But we got there. And when I realized, as any professional must acknowledge sometimes, you can't continue on your own. And Rachel and Tyler definitely stepped up and were able to continue on the research even when I wasn't able to, with Dr. Cruz and Dr. Rowland by their side. And I can say today that it is going to be published and people are going to be aware of the significance that sexual assault has in our community, especially with our younger generations. Thank you. It's important as a young woman to have professional men in your life who support you and don't question you or sit there and wonder, oh my gosh, why? Another woman who has something to say, but they didn't. They only ever asked me what they could do to help. So for that, I thank you both very much for doing that. And then to the women in my life, my professors in my HCFS department are the most incredible women you will meet in your life. They're supportive, they're encouraging, and again, even though I'm sure they wondered why I wanted to talk so much all the time, they never did. And for that, I thank you. They showed me the importance of understanding different developmental milestones in varying different generations and the importance of acknowledging people as they are for who they are. So for that, I say thank you. When I came up here tonight, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about. I wasn't sure if I was going to be allowed to talk about it, but I was given free rein. So as an aspiring sexologist, I promise I'm not going to give an anatomy lesson, but I will give you the importance of why it's important to acknowledge both sex, consent, sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse in our community. All of those types of conversation are not what we sit down at the dinner table and expect someone to bring up. And when they do, we sit there and wonder, well, this has not affected me, why should we discuss it? But the reason why we discuss it is for the importance of advocacy. Without advocation, no one is aware that these things are going on until they hit mass media, until they're sitting in front of your phone and you say, well, it happens. As a woman, as a mother, and as a partner, it can happen to anyone. It can happen to our children, it can happen to our spouses, it can happen to our friends, our family. And the more that we go on to not recognize it, the more it goes on. I want you to sit here and think about these simple phrases, because these phrases are the reasons why sexual assault and victims of those crimes are stigmatized day and day. What was she wearing? Did she say no? Well, you know, sometimes kids ask to be hit. Men can't be raped. Those simple phrases are the reason why stigmatization in our society continues, because we acknowledge this as everyday conversation and accept it. The more that we continue to compensate for this type of language, the more that the stigmatization goes on. As an inspiring social worker, human service person, and just a person who loves everyone, I ask of you that you look to the person on your right and remember that you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know the trauma that they have experienced as a person, as a child, or could be going right now. So I ask that you question yourself before you say something, before you do something, or before you tell someone else. Because it is a big honor to be sitting next to someone when they disclose to you. You don't understand the power that you have when you've learned something that's happened in someone's life, or the place that you hold for them that they have trusted you enough for them to disclose. I always tell my husband that I thank him for standing beside me and not in front of me, because there are definitely battles that I need to learn how to fight myself so I can heal. And when someone steps in front of you, you don't know how to overcome that because someone has been fighting for you. And as individuals, rather than fighting the battle for them, as much as we think that we are helping, it does not. Because we have not allowed the person to heal on their own or find a place where they feel secure. Sorry for all the depressing stuff. On to the fun stuff, sex.
You're not going to talk about that, are you?
Well, now that you mention it, no, I won't. But the reason I bring up sex, as funny and silly as it is, it's funny, right? It's uncomfortable. It makes us kind of sit in our seat and say, oh no, I didn't come here tonight to learn about that. That's why I went to college for anatomy, or that's why I'm a doctor, and all these things. But the reason I bring it up is the importance of our younger generations. There is a lack of presence of sex education in our schools, in our high schools, and sometimes even in our colleges. And it's not a lack of advocacy for it or a lack that people aren't trying. It's just that it's uncomfortable. When I say sex, people laugh, They get a little uncomfortable and they say, oh, what's next? But the reason I bring it up is that I am a big believer that we have to have conversations. Every interaction that we hold is a conversation. Me standing up here tonight is to have a conversation with you. It is important that we bring medically accurate, comprehensive sex education to our community so our children are not left in the dark. Because in the end, what harm comes from being uncomfortable and sitting with your child and having that conversation, or them knowing nothing, them not understanding their bodies, their potential partner or partners, whichever you prefer, I don't judge. But in the end, it's creating that environment that is safe and secure, where they feel welcome, that they can ask any kind of question. Because once you get past the birds and the bees, I'm sorry, it deeps down and it gets harder. Because then the conversation gets more in depth, sexual assault is brought up, rape is brought up, and it's important that you've prepared yourself to have that conversation in what kind of manifestation that it is. So I'll end there so I don't make anyone else more uncomfortable or upset, and I apologize for the depressive talk, but it's important that I utilize this platform to bring people awareness, to bring awareness to people and make them aware that there are resources and people out there who are willing to advocate for it, and I hope to be that person. So I'll reiterate, thank you to Wise Women who has given me the opportunity to stand up here. I thank all of my professors who have supported me along the way. I thank my family for dealing with me in my craziest times. But above all, I want to thank the people who have doubted me. As a rising star, I tried to imagine what that means. And to me, it means that as a young person, a lot of people doubt you, your ability, your capability, what you're going to do with your life. And I have been told time and time again as a teen mother, as a young wife, that I'm not ready for that school was not for me, that what I'm talking about, this just isn't the right place. So with my educational aspirations, I want to say to the people who doubted me that the next time you see me, it will not be Mrs. Alicia Williams, it will be Dr. Williams. So thank you.
She a rising star or what? Our final category this evening is our Lifetime Achievement category. And we are very fortunate to have corporate sponsors for that category. And it's the Del Grosso family of companies, our Lifetime Achievement sponsors. Joe Del Grosso, who is a second-generation Del Grosso family member and the Chief Executive Officer for Del Grosso Foods Incorporated, is our presenter. Joe?
Thank you very much. So lots of people ask me a lot of times about Sister Paula and how are you related? So it's a simple answer. My father, Ferdinand, and Uncle Tom, which was Sister Paula's father, were brothers. So she is my first cousin. So a lot of people ask that question. She's really the star of the show here. The other thing is, when I was in I guess I was in 8th grade, Sister Paula and Sister Pauline, because I had a little trouble in school. I was a clown. And I failed. So that summer, my father had to take me to St. Peter and Paul Rectory. Sister was there, and Sister Pauline, and they had to teach me summer school. I really learned a valuable lesson at that point, to never ever do the clowning that I did in the 8th grade. I finally passed, and I was able to move on. And I really, the next year, some of the teachers said to me, Mr. Del Grosso. I said, yeah, well, you were this student who we were all concerned that you were coming into this next grade and you were going to be trouble. But you've been a model student. I said, I didn't have a choice. I had to be that. So anyhow, I didn't want to get too wordy on that. But the Del Grosso Company is proud to honor the Lifetime Achievement Award for Sister Paula. She has made creative contributions of outstanding significance to the Wise Women mission by the way she has lived her life. This year's honoree is no stranger to the Blair County community. She served as an educator and administrator for 34 years with the Diocese of Altoona-Johnstown. She holds an associate degree from Mount Aloysius, a bachelor's degree from St. Francis University, and a master's degree in counseling from Duquesne. Her passion for education and community led her to the most recognizable and current role, Director of St. Vincent de Paul Food for Families Soup Kitchen. She has spent over 30 years providing more than just food for the hungry. She shows compassion, empathy, and a willingness to go above and beyond for each individual that walks through the door. A visitor of the food kitchen said she accepts everybody, no questions asked. She also wants to make sure that you eat all your food. She's very adamant on that, I can tell you. Her work has helped bring communities together and has shown that even the smallest act of kindness can make a world of difference. Her tireless efforts have made her a pillar of her community, a role model for others to follow, and it's inspiration to all of us. Sister believes by honoring committed, good women, it will in turn inspire others to pursue their dreams. Please join me in welcoming this year's honoree to the stage, Sister Paula Del Grosso.
When you know it wouldn't work. Nothing's working tonight. Nothing's working tonight. I think it's past my bedtime. That's why. You know. I want to thank the Wise Women's Club of Blair County. You know, I was thinking when I got the invitation or the notification that I would be honored, I've been following over the years the many wonderful women that have been honored by the Wise Women's Club. And they should be honored because their honorees become examples for other women in the community. And they're encouraged and they're inspired to be a vital part of the community. So the Wise Women have really done well by what they do. I'm used to speaking, as many of my friends know. I kind of lose track of time. So the Wise Women were pretty wise in kind of giving us a time limit. So when I told some of my friends, don't worry tonight, because when they come to our annual Crab Fest, which we had for 25 years, I'm the only speaker. So when I get up there, You know, I get carried away because I always have so much to say. But I thought, prepare yourself, discipline yourself tonight because you don't have much time. So when I told some of my friends that I don't have much time, they just rolled their eyes. They didn't believe that I would pay attention, but I'm really going to try real hard. But I'd like to get across a couple of things about what we've been doing the last 32 years at the soup kitchen. And I might add that many of you in this room I have been blessed to have as supporters, and they played a very vital role in helping us to change the lives, literally, of hundreds and hundreds of families over 32 years. Not only have people helped us, providing us with the resources, the material things, the food. Everybody in town knows we have the best food in town. They get big meals, and it's because of all the support we get. But we also give them something else. And this is what everybody in this community can be proud of. We help them to change their lives. They think they're not worth anything when they come in. They think they're the bottom of the barrel. And they misbehave when they first come. But after a few months of having me around, they start to change a little bit.
I don't think it takes you months to
That's why I am pretty strict with them. But I always explain to them why we are this way. We want you to be safe. We want you to be respectful. We want you to think you're important. And we have been able to do that. You have to see it to believe it. They thank us for it afterwards. They say thanks to the people that help you help us. Because periodically, like I said, I'm good at talking a lot, and I give them lectures periodically too. One year, a benefactor called me and gave me a large sum of money to spread out among all the families and give it to them. We don't, as a rule, give money. They can get all the food they want, but this was something special. So the benefactor said, figure out your families, you and Sister Pauline, because we know the families, and divide it up among them. Well, we got down to, we were real busy figuring out this family had 2 children, this one had 3. These people were single people, older perhaps, even younger and sick. So we figured out how much to give to each person and each family. This was around the holidays. We wrote out on a card and an envelope their name, and we put inside the amount of money that we were given. Nobody got less than $300. No single person got less. Families with 2 or 3 children would get $600 or $700. Well, I'm telling you, like I said, we never give money, but this was designated as such. And when benefactors designate, we try to follow that. But as a rule, we don't give out money. We lined them up took them one by one family at a time, come up to the office, and we had them sit down and we gave them their envelope. I wished for so many years that the benefactor would have been there, or any of you who have helped us as you have for all these years, to see what that meant to those people. It was like you gave them $1 million. We had single mothers, a couple of them were getting cancer treatments, had 2 children. They'd get down on their knees. We never had so many tears, that you would have been, I know you would have been shocked. You don't shock easily. But to see the appreciation and what it meant to those people. And I always tell my benefactors, you've helped us to change lives, not just feed them good, but change lives. You have to see it to believe it. So when I told them we were going to give them a gift, I didn't announce to them that they were getting money. I just said, one of our special friends has given us a gift to give to you. And I said, we're going to figure out how to do it. I said, always remember one thing, I told them. And I always include myself when something like this happens. I said, you and I maybe don't have much of this world's materials, resources, or whatever, but we have the greatest gift that anybody could ever receive in this world, and that's people care about you and me. And the volunteers that were behind me that day at the lunch hour said, Sister, you should have seen their eyes light up it was like they were seeing. This is the impact that we have when we help people. And the beauty of Blair County, some of the others have pointed this out, and I have found this to be true in all my years there. This is the most giving community. I'll be honest with you, I had the opportunity to travel all over this country, from Boston to New York to New Orleans to San Francisco to St. Louis, even Las Vegas. Don't be surprised, even Las Vegas. But I traveled and I purposely visited some communities that were helping the poor. Everywhere I went, they were struggling like a pantry, food pantry. You see it on TV sometime, or a soup kitchen. They don't have enough food to feed the people that come in. This community is so good to a lot of our groups that are providing food. They don't go without. We are so blessed to be in this community where people care not just about one particular cause. They support everything. But you know what? So many of them have told me, you should see the blessings we get in return. They tell me that. I know that to be true. So we are really, really fortunate. In my lifetime, since it's a lifetime award, I did spend 34 years in education, and the last 32, almost 33 years at the soup kitchen. Do you know, I have been so blessed because I have been surrounded by people who support me, who respect me, who give me good examples, have been an inspiration to me to do good by their goodness. I look around, I was talking to a volunteer of mine that's been there since the beginning. About 2 weeks ago, we were talking about this honor. And I said, you know as well as I do that all of you share, volunteers, benefactors, all share in this honor because you made our mission possible. And you're also good. I always say the people that surround me are 1,000 times better than I. You know, they think it's the opposite. They don't know what an example they are to me, whether it's volunteers, whether it's benefactors. You're examples of what we're supposed to do. So he looked at me and he said, well, did you ever hear the saying? You're only as good as the people that surround you. And I said, you know, that makes sense. That means I'm pretty good because I'm surrounded by really good people. But it's been true. I've had bosses that are not overpowering. I think the reason is they knew what I was doing. You know, and you talk about men and women relationships. I have about 8 or 9 guys in a warehouse, and they're pretty educated. They're retirees from different places, from education, from PennDOT. You know, they all are educated. And they'll come and they have these ideas. You know, when men, nothing against men, but sometimes when they have ideas, some of them think that's the best idea. Well, they come and like, I think the judge said, you listen, okay? We listen to men or women with their ideas. And there, a couple of them were sitting one day and were telling me, don't you think you should do it this way? And they explained I said, that sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound bad, but we're not doing it, you know? And they are really good. And you know how I explain that to them? I said, your idea is good, but you don't know the circumstances surrounding you, that decision wouldn't be a good decision. I know that other details and things that they don't. So I've been blessed. They listen. Nobody gives really any trouble. But I've had that experience. My executive director, some of you know him, Sonny Consiglio, he's technically my boss in the board of the St. Vincent de Paul. You know, he was visiting me one day in the office, and a couple of the guys came in, and I said, Tom, Joe, I said, I don't know if you ever met Sonny, he's my boss, you know. Well, he's standing there, and you know what he does? When I said that, he rolls his eyes. Like, you know, who is she kidding? But, you know, but I do listen, and I do give report. But that's the kind of people that I've been blessed that I've been surrounded with. But the point is, the main point of our mission is to really help these people if they feel a little better about themselves. I get a question once in a while, not too much anymore because I straightened a few people out. But the thing is, the question is, do you think they should be coming in here? I said, rule number 1 when I started 32 years ago, whoever comes through that door, we don't subject them to any questions. We don't judge them. That defeats the whole purpose of our trying to help, because we don't know the circumstances of situation. I taught them for a couple months. Some of them come in a little dirty. You know, we have a clothes rack in the back of the dining hall if anybody comes in half dressed. You know, if women come in, they know they have to stop and put a top on. They're trained, but they feel better about themselves. The women said to me once, well, what about the men? They wear muscle shirts and they stink, you know. So I told the men, no more muscle shirt. Why? I said, you have to wear at least a T-shirt, so we have shirts for them. And I said, because the women said you stink. Well, that stopped. That stopped. Now I don't have any problem. They automatically come in and it's just to get them to clean up with what little they have, and we try to help them, and it builds up respect. You have to see it to believe it, that it does work. And many of you in this room help us, and a lot of others, but it works. You're helping us to help them at least feel a little better about themselves. I could tell you, I can't use the time because I know I see one of my friends who times me sitting right in front of me here, you know, and he's there, you know, going like this, you know, trying to cut me off, you know. And yet, you know, we have had an annual crab fest that Doug started 28 years ago. He approached me with Don Pacifico, some of you remember him, and said, how would you like if we start an annual fundraiser for you, a crab fest? Can you get a committee together? Well, I knew a lot of people, and you know, I said, oh yeah. So we had it for 25 years, over 600 people here. They were upstairs here and in the other room. For 25 years, then the pandemic came. We celebrated the 25th and the pandemic came. It's been 3 years since we haven't had it. So I've had different sponsors of tables who approached me and said, aren't you going to revise? Aren't you going to bring that back? You know, we didn't know what to do. Sister Pauline and I, we talked about it. And I said, why don't we send a letter out to the sponsors and see if they would still support it? You know, because they support us all year round, even, and that's okay if they don't feel to get back to support that too. We sent a letter back out, just wanted their opinion. Do you think we should have the Crab Fest back? Should we restart it? Every single one of them said yes. So now we're faced with finding we had it here, but it's a question of, is there room, you know, on the calendar and all that. But one of my sponsors called me on the phone, and he said, I'm not writing your answer back or emailing it. I called to tell you over the phone. Yes, there's 2 reasons why you should restart it. The first reason is it'll give a sense of normalcy. You know, like we had it before. Well, that made sense. I didn't think of that. I was surprised. Then he said, number 2, he says, I like hearing you talk. And I talk a lot at the crowd. You think this is a lot. You should hear at the crowd. Anyhow, he said, don't you remember the last one we had? He said, you and I were talking, then they called you up on stage, you know, to give your talk. And I turned around, he said, you told me I'm only going to be a couple minutes. He said, I'm sitting there 25 minutes later and you're just getting started. And I was only supposed to be, he had to get that in. He's sitting very close by here, you know. I don't want to embarrass him, you know, because he's too good, you know, of the thing. But it's been a great, you might say, when are you going to retire? I turned 87 in February. I don't know what to say. You know, I have a lot of friends who retired. The worst thing to do is to do nothing. I mean, do something. Maybe we can't do as much as we did. But I go in 6 o'clock in the morning and for 2 hours, I do all my head work. The decisions I have to make, and I have to weigh all these issues. It's good for my mind, I think. And I move around when I get down with the people in the dining hall every day and get my exercise.
and yell at them if they're misbehaving. And, I get that kind of exercise. But I don't know when I'll be ready. And maybe, the talk is when you get old, you should use your head and retire. But I've seen a lot of people go down. And if I'm still valuable, and if I wake up some morning and I say, I hate going to that place, then it's time for me to get out. Because you can't have that attitude. You have to, but I've slowed down. I get around, but I slowed down a little bit. But other than that, I'm doing all right. So I just hope and pray that those of you that have helped us all these years continue that. You've been a real support. If for those of you that don't know, I'll say one last thing. Donna's poking me in the back, so during the pandemic, a lot of you know this, we served meals outside for 2.5 years, every day, 350 to 400 meals, every day. And our meals aren't a sandwich. They're full meals, plus they get produce boxes with the connection I have with the farmers, the government contracts with farmers and all that. They get tons of food, but we did that every day for 2.5 years. What happened was, you could figure this out, the expenses tripled because when you serve outside, you have to buy containers, you have to buy, like we give them fruit every day, you have to buy the sealed thing. All this stuff runs into thousands of dollars. And I'm not complaining that we're broke, because all of you have kept us steady over all these years. But here's what happened to show you the goodness of this community. What happened? The expenses tripled from day one that we started outside. There were people pulling up, literally, in their cars, getting out of their cars, parking across the street, the cable company parking lot, which we're not allowed to park if they come in to eat. But these people would get out of their cars, and I have a rule outside. For lunchtime, they're parked from our soup kitchen down to 24th Street. You know where the underpass is? They start lining up. We start serving 11:30. They're starting lining up at 10:30 because they want to be first in line. Well, some people get antsy, and they think they're smart. A couple of them tried pulling in the parking lot across from us where we serve the meals, getting out and walking in the line walk. People that are walking because they can get through soon. They're not going to get that line all the way down. Well, they had a rude awakening. They don't get served. You get out and get in line. It's not fair to the others. Well, one day, guy pulls over there, and I always stop the people first and ask them how they're doing, then send them on to get their meal to the next guy. Well, while I'm doing that, my head guy giving the meals out, he said, I see this guy coming across the street. And I said, tell him he has to get in the car and go back out. Well, the guy kept coming. So my worker come over. He said, he wants to see you. I said, okay, send him here. I said, sir, he says, I'm not here to eat. I'm here to give you a donation. I said, oh, come on inside. I took him right in the warehouse. I even took a minute off, to go. But that's how, things like that have happened. But people, our income to cover those 2.5 years doubled. Now, isn't that strange how sensitive people in our community are? And this was over and above regular people that help us, that they saw a need. I tell you, this community, like some of our other honorees said, this is a great community. You're really wonderful. You know what it means to help people. You should feel very happy whenever you're helping and know that you're helping to change people's lives. So I really thank you all, and thank again the wise women. I thank all my volunteers that have been with us for years. Sister Pauline's my associate. She puts up with me. I tell them all, my volunteers, I tell them I'm their ticket to heaven. They have to do some suffering, so, be around me and you'll be sure to get up there, So I really thank you all very much, okay?
I know it's getting very late, but I just have to say a couple thank yous. Thank you to the Board of Wise Women. Thank you to the Tribute Committee that helped put this together. Thank you to our state legislators who provided us with the legislative citations. Jim Gregory did them for his constituents. Lou Schmidt did them for his constituents, and Judy Ward did it for the Lifetime Achievement honoree. We have the gorgeous faces that will be presented to each of the honorees from Chronics that are all engraved for them. The gorgeous flowers here this evening are from one of our board members, Chelsea Kurvaneski, so we're very grateful for that. We appreciate the people who nominated all of these wonderful women. This event doesn't happen if you don't nominate people that are worthy of the recognition. So keep that in mind as you're circulating in this wonderful community for the next year. Think about people you can nominate. Thanks to Jen Checo, our tribute coordinator and administrative assistant. Thank all of you for coming and being patient with us and having a good time. And thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the thoughtful things that we were put in front of us. And have a wonderful evening. Our honorees need to come up and collect up all these wonderful things. Each of you has a flower to take home, and Chelsea can tell you how to plant and keep it alive. I can't, but enjoy and thank you. And board, remember we do the board photo, so don't run off. Thank you.